Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going all the way back to the 19th century to meet William Whewell,
Oh, a fascinating figure.
who was a true polymath.
I think, yeah, scientist, philosopher,
Yeah,
historian,
even a priest.
you name it.
We're going to be looking at the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy's entry on Whewell.
Great source.
Yeah, definitely buckle up because we're about to unpack some pretty profound ideas.
When you think about someone being ahead of their time, Whewell really comes to mind. For anyone, especially for those of us in the philosophy of science,
Right.
he had an incredible impact. I mean, he wasn't just theorizing about science. He
Yeah.
was really in it. Coined the term scientist, even.
That's right. The word scientist comes from Whewell. It's amazing to think about, like, the person who gave us that word also gave us some of the most insightful perspectives on how we build scientific knowledge.
Yeah, he was really bridging that gap between the practice of science and the philosophy of it. And one of the ways he did that was with this idea of the fundamental antithesis.
Okay.
He said knowledge isn't just like pure reason or just about what we experience with our senses.
Yeah.
It's both. It's this interplay. It's like, imagine this. Our minds, they come preloaded
Right.
with these concepts like space, time.
Causality.
Yeah, causality. But it's through observing, the world around us that these concepts actually become clear, refined.
So it's not like a blank slate
Exactly.
versus innate ideas, but like a collaboration.
Exactly.
Our minds are kind of like the scaffolding, and experience is filling it in.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
This is really interesting.
He really makes you think about how we get to knowledge.
Yeah.
And this is so clear in his idea of discoverer's induction,
Okay.
building on Francis Bacon, who was all about observation, experimentation.
Right.
But, well, he took it further.
Oh, okay.
He said real breakthroughs happen when you find a concept that, like, clicks with the data.
It's like an aha moment. Yes. And predict stuff you haven't even seen yet.
So it's not just about collecting data.
No.
It's about finding the concept.
It's that elegant, unifying idea.
Yeah.
It's like in philosophy, right?
Right.
We search for those underlying principles that explain everything.
Absolutely. And Whewell, it gives this great example with Kepler.
Oh, yeah.
Kepler didn't just like randomly come up with elliptical orbits. He had to try different ideas.
You had to refine them.
Refine them, yeah. And then, based on the data he had,
Yeah.
he arrived at the one that worked.
It was a process.
A process of discovery.
Not just passive observation.
Right. So there's like this creative element to science.
It is creative.
It's not just crunching numbers.
No.
It's having that eureka moment
It's that insight.
where the right concept just snaps into place.
Exactly. So you've got your scientists. They've done all that discoverer's induction stuff.
Right. Found the concept.
They've got that concept, fits the data, Whewell said. Not so fast. He was pretty strict about what made a good scientific theory.
Okay, yeah. He wasn't just giving out gold stars for any old idea.
No. Yeah.
So what were Whewell's tests? This is where I get really interested.
Oh, good. Well, he had three main ones.
Okay.
Prediction, consilience, and coherence.
Okay.
Prediction, that one's pretty simple.
Yeah.
A good theory should tell you about stuff you haven't even seen yet.
So it's not just explaining what we know.
No.
It's got to go beyond.
It's got to predict the unknown.
Right, like predict the future almost.
Almost, yeah. That makes sense, right?
Makes perfect sense. What about consilience? That sounds a bit more...
Oh, that's where it gets fun.
Okay.
For us philosophy types, at least. Whewell said, the best proof
Yeah.
is when a theory explains things from totally different areas of science.
It's like finding a hidden connection.
It is, like a unity between things that seem totally separate.
Oh, I like that.
Like the same force that makes an apple fall
Right.
also makes the moon go around the earth.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's consilience.
That's it.
Okay. That is exciting. So it's not just about proving a theory within its own little world.
No.
It's got to fit into the bigger picture,
Exactly.
like the grand scheme of science.
That's it. You're getting it.
And that's what we do in philosophy too, right? Find those connecting threads.
We see the parallels.
Yeah.
Definitely. And Whewell's third one, coherence.
Okay.
That's about how a theory grows with new knowledge.
Like it adapts.
It adapts, exactly. The good theory doesn't need constant fixing
Right.
to fit new discoveries. It expands gracefully.
So not being dogmatic,
No.
but seeing how a theory handles new stuff.
New evidence.
Evidence, right. This is reminding me of how we look at philosophy theories too.
Yeah, they have to be adaptable.
But all this talk about confirmation
Yeah.
leads us to Whewell's big idea.
Oh, here we go.
Necessary truths in science.
Right, his ultimate problem, as he called it.
But how can something we discover, like through observation,
Yeah.
be necessarily true?
Yeah. That's the question.
Doesn't science always change?
It seems against the whole method, right?
Yeah. So how did Whewell, square that circle?
Well, that's where the fundamental antithesis comes back in.
Oh, where?
Remember, he said, our minds have these built-in concepts.
Right. Space, time.
Exactly. And he said these aren't just random. They reflect how the universe is.
So it's not us forcing those truths on the world.
No.
It's us discovering truths that are already there.
Woven into reality itself.
Wow. But how do we get from those basic concepts to these unshakable truths?
He believed, God made the world based on those ideas.
Okay.
And by understanding them through science, we find those truths.
That's a big leap.
It is.
I'm going to need a minute to process that one.
It's a lot to take in, even for a philosopher.
And before we get too abstract,
Right.
Whewell wasn't just an armchair philosopher.
No, he was out there doing it.
Yeah, he did
He
research.
wrote a whole history of science. He even made scientific terms.
So he wasn't just talking about science.
He was living it.
Yeah, he was bridging that gap between science and philosophy.
In his work and his life.
He really embodied that fundamental antithesis.
Exactly. And that's why his ideas are still relevant. He makes us think about, the nature of knowledge,
Yeah.
the limits of science.
And if we can find truths that go beyond just what we observe.
Big questions.
Okay, so we've talked about how we all thought we build scientific knowledge and how we confirm it.
Yeah, and even his idea about necessary truths.
Right, which was pretty out there, even for a philosopher like me.
It was a bold claim, for sure.
But for all of us, thinking about these big philosophical questions,
Yeah.
what can we take from Whewell's work?
Well, he was really wrestling with some core stuff about truth.
Right, like how do we even know what's true?
Exactly. How do we justify what we believe?
And can we ever be really sure about anything?
These are still big questions in philosophy today.
Definitely.
And Whewell gives us, a whole new way to look at them.
It's so relevant now, there's just so much information out there.
It's overwhelming.
Everyone's got a theory and everyone's shouting it online.
Yeah, it's hard to know what to trust.
So do you think Whewell's ideas, especially consilience and coherence, can they help us navigate all that noise?
I think they can, definitely. Think about how we decide if something is true.
Yeah.
We're constantly getting hit with conflicting stuff, biases, even lies. Whewell's idea of consilience, finding explanations that work across different fields.
Yeah.
That's a powerful tool. If something is backed up by evidence from many places,
Then it's probably true.
it's a good sign, at least. It's like that saying, if it sounds too good to be true.
It probably is.
Exactly. If it doesn't fit with what we already know, be skeptical.
Yeah.
And coherence matters too. A good explanation, it makes sense, no contradictions.
It all fits together.
And it can grow with new discoveries without falling apart.
So we need explanations that can adapt.
That are robust, yeah.
This is making me think about, critical thinking.
Absolutely.
Being more discerning about what we believe.
It's crucial in this day and age.
But before we finish, I got to ask.
Oh.
This whole necessary truths thing. It's such a big claim,
It is.
As a philosopher, it's exciting, but also a bit much.
I get it.
Do you think Whewell was onto something? Or was he letting his beliefs get in the way?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Philosophers have been debating that for centuries.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with him or not, and his view is definitely tied to his faith.
Right.
The question itself is important. It makes us think about what science can tell us.
The limits of science.
Exactly. And the connection between our minds and the world.
Are there truths that are just true no matter what?
It's a big question.
It is.
Yeah.
Even if we don't agree with Whewell's answer.
Yeah.
Thinking about it helps us refine our own views.
Challenge our assumptions.
And understand truth and knowledge better.
That's what philosophy's all about.
Exactly. It's not about finding all the answers.
No.
It's about asking the good questions.
Exploring different ideas.
And always pushing ourselves to think deeper.
Well said. So, listeners, here's a question for you.
Ooh, I like this.
If Whewell was right about necessary truths in science, what would that mean for ethics, for morality? Could there be necessary truths about what's right and wrong?
Ooh, that's a good one. Something to think about for sure. Until next time, keep diving deep.